Please welcome James Oliver Phelps!
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing out there for a Sunday morning? Everyone happy to be here? Yeah! Very polite crowd.
So how was your day yesterday at Facts?
It's very good, thank you. Everyone was very welcoming and friendly, and yeah, just made us very happy to be here. And then last night we went and checked out a bit of Ghent and really enjoyed it. It's our first time here, so we got to see some of the town and try a few local beers, which was nice, and more importantly the chocolate, which was very nice. We're all ready to go today, and really happy that you guys are here to join us. So yeah, thanks for coming.
All right. So is there anybody here who was here yesterday? All right. Who was not here yesterday? All right, then maybe a good thing to start off with and to warm up the crowd to prepare for their questions is maybe you guys can explain how you got into the franchise of Harry Potter.
Yeah, we were 14 when we first went into the films, and it all came around because they did an open audition for the parts, which basically means that anybody can audition. You don't have to have an agent or anything like that. So my mum told us about it because she'd heard from a friend. So we thought, yeah, all right. Which meant travelling about 2 hours north to the audition. We thought we're twins, Fred and George. They're cool characters, let's go for them. And it meant missing school for the day, which, if you have to, so we did. And we could be in a great film series. So we got up to the audition process, and there was, thousands of people there going for every part of the film. And I've never seen so many small boys with glasses, well, not even glasses, just frames. There weren't any lenses in, with like lipstick scars off. So we went in and realised that we were the only set of twins out of about 20 to 25 who we saw on the day who weren't wearing the same clothes. Which, when you're going for identical twins, isn't a good idea. So we got a lottery ticket, which basically had a number, and it meant that's when you go and see the casting director. And we figured it out. We had about an hour and a half to kill. So we went down to the shop, bought the same shirt, went in, and then that was cool. We got a call back. Thought, right, we've only got that same shirt, so we wore that. Another few more auditions, and I think by the end of it they took pity on us that we were wearing the same clothes all the time. So they called us up and said, great, you guys are going to be Fred and George. And unknown to us, we'd be doing that for the next 12 years. Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic.
So, and you're still doing something with Harry Potter on stage, I believe. Is it still going on?
I guess this is a stage, so. It's still, there's still things happening. Like I say, although we wrapped 5 years ago now on the final production, that made me feel old. There's still theme parks being opened, and I know. Last year the exhibition was here in Belgium, which we were invited to go to, and did a few of you guys go and see that when it was there, and so that's touring around Europe at the moment. So yeah, they give us a phone call and say, would you like to come and, last time we were in the Netherlands, so trying to come to the Netherlands for a week or two. Yeah, so it's good. So in between, like Oliver and I are still acting and doing some presenting work as well. It still keeps giving, which is always nice.
So how do we tell you apart?
I was going to say shoes, but for people over there, it's a terrible analogy. I'm Oliver. Easiest way, if you ever see me in the street and I'm not wearing a jumper like this, is I've got a mole on the side of my neck. If I've got this up, I can't help you.
Hi. There was a rumor that instead of Fred, Ron would have died in the movies. And so Hermione would have, Fred would have been her boyfriend. Is it a missed opportunity?
Got to be honest, that's the first time I've ever heard that, so I don't know where your source is from.
Hello, did you guys take any props from the film sets, even if you weren't allowed?
You don't work for Warner Brothers, do you?
I'm declined to tell that, sorry.
Okay. No, of course we didn't. Maybe I have in my office at home a skiving snapbox, which is pretty cool because it's quite unique to the characters. The one thing I would have loved to have had is my wand, but they were very tight on giving those away because there was only, what, 3? I think they made 3. There was like a hard one, a rubber one, so if you dropped it, and another just for show. And they're now on the exhibition tour, so you guys can see them. But I keep nagging the guys who run the exhibition, like, no, it's done. Can I just like take it? No one else is going to want it, are they? Have you got anything?
I borrowed a bag from the Weasleys visiting Weasley's joke shop, which I suppose you only see her for a little bit in the film, the actual bags itself. But yeah, I've got that on my wall, and next to it, another frame is George's missing ear, which gets some very funny looks when people come around the house.
If you were able to buy one object from your own joke shop, I wonder what would it be, and I also wonder would it be the same for you too?
New question. Think of the answer. For me, I would try to think from the joke shop. Probably the darkness powder, because that would have been a great entrance if we had that conversation.
What, just for this occasion?
Yeah, just for this occasion right now. And leaving the restaurant. Oliver out.
Normally he just walks out and I'm left there with a bill. Probably like one of the skiving snap boxes, because that would always be helpful in some way situation. So, for example, if Oliver just puffed his way out and gone, and I'm left to pay the restaurant bill, I'd be like, oh, I've got a nosebleed.
So you'd run away from the check?
No, I'd send you back. That's the,
Okay, but I'm gone.
I'll find you.
Which movie was the most fun to make for you guys and why?
It's funny, they all blend into one when you try and think back, like, what film was that? But there's certain moments from all of them what stand out. I mean, the Goblet of Fire was such a laugh from start to finish, really. I think because for the first time, the characters, we were given a bit more freedom with them, and a lot more ad-libbing stuff, and grow our hair, and stuff like that. So yeah, there's definitely some fun moments on that one especially. I think because we just turned to 18 as well, and the new guys came in like Rob and Clemence and Stan, and there were some older people in the cast for us to chat to. Because although we were the oldest of the younger kids, we were probably the most immature. But yeah, it was a good one. That was good.
Hello. In Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, there's a dancing lesson from McGonagall, and she says something like bubbling bag of baboons, and then you try saying it 5 times fast. Can you still say that?
Can you say it 5 times faster?
I think it took a few takes for me to get that when we were doing it, because at the time it was kind of just off the cuff.
It wasn't even in the script.
It wasn't really meant to be happening, and we kind of just did it. And the director Mike was like, yeah, I love that, let's keep going. And but then when we actually filmed that scene, that was when the girls are on one side and the boys are on the other. When we actually did the dance classes to learn how to dance for the All Balls who all learned how to do the waltz, that was exactly what it was like in the rehearsal space. Like all the lads were on the one side and all the girls were on the other, really looking forward to it, and all the boys were like, I don't want to do it. Keep treading on people's toes. But yeah, that was, again, learning, and I guess that was fun about doing, especially that movie, The Goblet of Fire, was that we learned how to ballroom dance, which I've never used since, but it's good to know it's there.
Hi, I have a quick question. What kind of music are you guys into? Do you have a favorite band or something?
Yeah, I suppose I'd like to think quite a few different genres, but if I had to tick a box, rock music. Just kind of always been there, listening to rock music. So in terms of bands, there's an American band, Alter Bridge, who I've been following for years. And we're actually lucky to go and see Metallica on next Tuesday, which is like our 7th or 8th time watching them. So actually we skipped out of the premiere once to go and watch them when we were in Spain. We came out of the premiere, we did all the press and everything. And the guys at Warner Bros said, right, you've been really cool today with everyone, like meeting people and stuff. And she said, we've got a surprise for you. We got in the car and next thing we know, we're side of the stage of Metallica. So yeah, there's definitely perks to being in Harry Potter.
What was the funniest thing that happened on the set?
I don't know about funniest because like so many years there's a lot to remember. One really memorable thing that I found funny anyway. So one of the things when being Fred and George may have noticed, we haven't actually got red hair, so we had to have our hair dyed every 3 weeks for 10 years. So I definitely become used to complimenting a girl if she's had her hair done, because if I got my roots touched up and no one would know, I'd feel a bit, what's going on? So yeah, the funny thing that happened was we had to get our eyebrows dyed as well. And how that happened was that they'd put like bleach on it and time it for about 10 minutes or so, and then they'll take it off and then you'd have ginger eyebrows. One day, the trainee did Oliver's eyebrows.
I'm just going to walk on.
And she left it on for a good half an hour. So when they took them off, Oliver had no eyebrows. So imagine Oliver with like the longest forehead going. And so they ended up having to draw the eyebrows on.
Oh, we laughed.
Which was quite funny because then the makeup guy started having a bit of fun with it as well. So it was like, are you quite angry in this thing? He's like, well, I think I'm thinking about it tonight. I mean, I found that funny. I don't know about if Oliver did that.
Oh, I still chuckle.
Are there any movies or series we might be seeing you in, or what would you like to be in?
We've been fortunate to do a couple of stuff recently. Actually, we've been there's a travel show. We've been doing a bit of stuff to get off the ground, which is a pretty simple concept. Which is basically I do the posh stuff and James does the affordable stuff. But it's good because it shows the two sides of the same city. And then we've also got a brand new kind of podcast coming out, which is we'll let all you guys know when that is. But it's a cool new format of how to do a podcast and stuff. So I think that's next year. We're doing that sometime. And then just other stuff like the odd TV show and our presenting stuff as well, which is really fun because we love talking like this. Everyone's so polite in here, we're not talking over everyone, it's awesome. But yeah, so we're very lucky to be able to keep doing some cool stuff.
When you meet fans, not on conventions but outside, do you like playing jokes with them? And if yes, what kind of jokes have you made with fans?
I don't know about with fans. I'm trying to think what. I won't say a joke, but like one thing that's happened a few times. Actually happened a couple of weeks ago. I was at a bar in England, and this guy came. Like I was waiting for a friend actually, and this guy turned to me and was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Are you okay?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm good, thank you." "How's your mum?" I was like, "Yeah, mum's good." And then this guy thought that he knew me from like as a school friend or something. But then by the time he realised it, I'd been talking like it'd gone past the point of being able to talk about like so it was like, oh, okay, well I'm gonna get going. I was like, oh yeah, okay, well so hello to your mum for me while you're there. It's like, and then I think that one actually I guess a prank. Though I wouldn't call this person a fan, it was a journalist in America.
Bad journalist.
Yeah, a journalist who hadn't actually done any research for the interview. Which anyway, So first of all, it was like, oh yeah, I'm a really big fan of Harry Potter, da da da, and then it started
Live TV.
Yeah, and then it started. And the first question was, so is there any reason why you dyed your hair ginger? So we were like, it's it's for the characters. They are kind of seen to be ginger. Oh right, okay. And are you guys actually related? To which I was like, no, we're not actually. We met at the audition, and you could just see the guy from Warner Brothers on the side, just like.
And then a bit later on, you see the director of the show going, like, pull me into it. So.
Fortunately, afterwards, like all the messages that came through, like that was the best interview we've seen on the show in ages. So, that was a bit of a prank, but I think since then, a bit more research has been done. Shall we say?
If you still do conventions after a couple of years and even go to countries like Belgium, you must like it. But what do you like the most about it?
Yeah, to be honest, it's seeing you guys, and seeing you guys at the like just coming up to say hey at the table and stuff, having that connection. Like sometimes you meet someone who's just there with their phone, trying to get a sneaky photo, which is a bit weird because sometimes you miss in that moment, that connection, which to us is awesome. Like, I think about that all the way home, and at home when I get home, I'm like, wow, that is so cool that people have travelled hours to see us. Which, when you're filming the films, you don't realise, because you're in such a bubble, you don't realise how many people are watching the films and what it means. So it is awesome. It is awesome, and as you say, like to come to Belgium again. We were here last year for the opening of the exhibition, as James said earlier, and we had such a fun time. So to be able to come, like any excuse to come back is great. And considering you guys are so cool and pleasant to us when we're here, it just makes us all the more reason to come back.
I think, and also the different places you go in the world, like there's the different cultures and all that kind of thing. So that's always good to experience. And like I said, meeting you guys and all your different stories. And I met someone yesterday who's actually studying to become a chocolatier. I was like, that sounds like the best job in the world. So just things like that is, I guess only in Belgium is which I was like, I may look into that one. But yeah, like Oliver said, it's mainly just seeing you guys and really making us feel very welcome anywhere we go. So thank you very much for that.
What advice can you give for someone who's studying theater? I'm studying theater. So what advice can you give?
Learn your lines. I know it's obvious, but seriously, that's the best one I can do because I did a stage show in the UK, one I did about 2 or 3 years ago now, and I got the script 5 weeks before the opening night. So it's going to be pretty much 3 weeks of just intense rehearsals, and then we would go on. And so I pretty much locked myself in my office at home and didn't want to leave it until I learned at least one scene a day. And basically everything I didn't do at school. So because you're going to get found out if you don't know what you're doing. And so that meant that I knew every line in rehearsal, so then you can just concentrate on actually rehearsing them. And then there was another person that I was working with who was still reading the script from the folder. And it's kind of like, okay, that's your method, but it's not very respectful to everybody else. And also another thing would be listen to what the director says. Because ultimately the director trusts you, because that's why you've got the part. Just go with it. And then final thing, the best thing that I've ever been told from a stage director was, remember the audience don't want you to fail. They want you to be good, because otherwise it's awkward for everybody.
So, and that works for the same as anything. Like, say, if you've got a speech to do, be it at work, at a wedding, or anything like that. No one here wants us to walk on this stage and be awful. So just remember that if anyone's doing, not necessarily just acting, but have to give a presentation about anything, just remember everyone wants you to be good. So just remember that in the back of your head, and it'll make everything so much easier.
Speaking about failing on stage, in the films almost every line is spoken simultaneously between you guys. How often did you screw this up?
Not very. No, actually, that came around because we met with the director Alfonso Cuarón on the third film. Before we started shooting, he wanted to meet up with us and talk about Fred and George, and he noticed that we kept coming up with ideas and cutting each other up with it. And you see him like looking at it, a big smile, and he said, "I like that." So he literally got his pen out and went through the scripts like, right, change that one, split that up, and then after a while, as James said, just a bit of practice. And it's amazing how people like that and how easy it was to get on doing.
What profession would you choose to occupy if you weren't an actor?
Chocolatier.
I think this is amazing. I think that'd be the best job in the world.
Made in Belgium, a beer maker. Or a beer taster. No, maker.
Hi. Are there like any big disadvantages about being famous and about getting recognized everywhere? Like you experience every day, like things you don't like?
To be honest, the pros outweigh the cons, as it were. Probably the only main disadvantage you have is if you want that one time when you want to be just one of the crowd or like just on your own. It's a bit weird to describe that. If you've seen like the Bourne Identity movie, like the Bourne films, and there's a bit where it says, I'm sitting in a restaurant and I know there's three guys over there, there's a door. It's kind of like I have this sixth sense of you can tell if someone's recognised you or not, and it's really weird. And every so often when you see like a phone, like I think they're doing it on the slide. I see. But to be honest, especially what's cool about playing Fred and George is that they're the fun characters, so people want to be your friend, which is always good. We were out once with Tom Felton, and we were at a bar, and this guy came over to us while myself and said, "Oh, I'd love to buy you guys a drink." "Not you, you're horrible." And Tom was like, "Oh, thanks." I guess if you play the right characters and some people know you as that, then that's always good.
Hi. If you would look in the mirror of horizon, what would you see?
Would I see? I would see. I don't know, sunshine. I like sun and happiness. God, that sounds terrible. And rainbows and no. Yeah, just a nice beach. I think. Yeah, just somewhere really warm. Lots of chocolate all around. Are you trying to?
No, I think I'm addicted since I've been there. So, yeah.
How is it to play alongside Julie Walters in the Maggie Smith?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was fantastic. And the cool thing about it was that you kind of, as we grew up, you could feel a bit more confident about going to chat to them and get advice about certain things or ask. Like when we did the one scene at the end, without spoiling, one of the characters doesn't come back, and I asked Julie, how would you do that scene? And she kind of gave me some really cool advice, which is, as an actor, is invaluable. You ask and just listen, because they've done it all before. So it's really special.
As we all know, Fred and George are pranksters. Did you guys do any pranks on set? And can you give us an example?
Did a couple. What's fun is that if you like Fred and we were kind of given a bit more of a okay, you guys can do it, because we would say we're method actors, so we want to be able to express ourselves off camera as well. Although we did do one when we were so one of the cool things about when we were filming was that for the premieres or when a film's released, we'd be sent around Europe mainly to do press tours, and that would basically involve loads of journalists, and then they'd show you around the city or whatever. And we got to bring a friend with us. So the one time, one of my pals came with us, and we were in Helsinki in Finland. And we went that night, we went for a few drinks, and we had press at like 6 a.m. for the morning show. So we went to bed pretty early-ish. But our pals stayed out. And we thought, he kind of said to us, like, oh, do you want us to come to the studio with you tomorrow morning? Expecting us to say, no, you carry on. And we're like, yeah, we do. Be there at 6 a.m. Anyway, he didn't come down at 6 a.m. He stayed out quite late. And it turned out that he was, another friend of ours who went out with him, he was saying he was really trying hard to chat up all the girls he could in this nightclub. Like, he was desperate. Without much success. Anyway, we then devised this plan to really wind him up. So we said, right, come down and meet us in our room. When we get back, we need to talk. So he came down to see us, and basically we had the producer's phone number, the director's phone number, like Warner Brothers headed emails, And all the guys from Warner's are helping us out with this prank. And we said, right, we know you were talking to these women and they've made a complaint that you've been harassing them. They're going to cut us from the promo tour. We're not going to be able to do any more press ever again for Warner Brothers. And also, side note, this guy worked on the films in the crew. So we got his boss to text him saying, don't bother coming in a couple of weeks' time. So he's like, no, but nothing happened. And we're like, well, that's not what they say. That's not how they say it. And they're like,
well, and we threw it as well that one of the girls he was trying it on with was a media socialite, and she told a story, but it involved us. So it got really, really into it. And then he was like, he was just literally against the elevator, just like, and then the guys from the Warner's team in Finland were all in on it, so they were just being really like quiet with him, even to the point where we went on a tour of Helsinki on the boat, and he didn't look up from he was just looking down the whole time, missed the whole thing. And one of the girls who was leaving from Warner's Bros was like, bye guys, looked at him and went, bye.
But then we actually told some of the Finland journalists what was going on, and like quite a few of the Finns' humour is very like dark, and so the one guy was like, "Oh, I like that." So then as he was leaving, he was like, "You bad person." And so this went on for a good 12 hours, until eventually the one guy from Warner was like, "I can't do it anymore. Anthony, it's fine. You're fine." And he was like, "Oh, thank God." So long story short, yes, we do pull pranks every day.
I wanted to ask you if you have any allergies, because next time I will take some chocolate for you, because I'm a chocolatier as well.
Oh, wow! How do you get in to be the chocolatier?
In the Netherlands, you have to do a baker's education first, and then you go do a pastry chef education.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
There you go, you can do that.
Yeah.
And allergies? Nope.
Right, I'm afraid that's all we have time for today. Do you have any parting words for your Belgian fans?
Yeah, just again, thank you so much, you guys, for coming today. We've had a really good trip here. Unfortunately, we're working tomorrow in London, so we're going to have to, I think we're leaving here at about
3 o'clock, so I think they've got a cab line at like 2:45 if anyone's coming, so we don't disappoint anyone and get someone charging over as we get in the car. But on a side note, just amazing thank you. That doesn't make sense. A massive thank you for you guys just coming to see us and making us feel so welcome in your great country. And we hope to be back again one day soon, because we really enjoy it over here.
Yeah, thank you very much again, and hope you have a great weekend.
All the best. Thanks a lot.